Layla Santiago here. We are in Puebla, Mexico. It's just a few hours south of Mexico City. So why are we here? Well, you might have heard there's a bit of a controversial caravan that has been at the center of tweets from the Mexican government, from President Trump, from a lot of immigration advocates. And this caravan has a lot of Central Americans that are heading north. They started, well, in Central America, but they organize in the southern part of Mexico. And the caravan for the last few days has been about 6-7 hours south of where we are right now in an area called Matias Romero, Oaxaca. But here's the thing. Some of the people in that caravan, which organizers tell me it was 1,000 plus, sort of went ahead. And they're waiting here in Puebla for the caravan to arrive today to meet up with them and continue on north. Now, the priest from this church where we are right now in Puebla tells us that they're already on their way. He's been organizing with the leaders on the ground with the 1,000 plus caravan, and so he tells me they're already on their way. They expect about 20 buses to come with women, children, families, men that are all a part of this caravan. So I'm going to kind of walk you through here, and let me outline right now what we want to go over. We're going to talk about where we are, what's happening now, what's expected to happen, try to kind of keep things in context, and then put faces to this. I want to introduce you to the people of this caravan, and I want to give you the opportunity to ask them questions directly. They're willing to take some questions, and I can sort of serve as a translator to make sure that what has become somewhat complex and complicated, and many would say justifiably so political, I want to clear things up, right? Get the facts first. So let me show you around. We are in sort of the eating area right now of the church. The priest was just here being interviewed by local press. We were the first ones here, but since we've been here today anyway, we probably had 5 or 6 other local press arrive. They're speaking to the priest, who again told us that he is on standby. He will make sure that people from this caravan have a place to sleep. He will spread them out to other shelters and other churches. So not only do they have a place to sleep, they have a place to eat. They can be safe here, and they can join the caravan when it comes. I've actually also seen some nurses here as well as the religious community. There have been nuns here. There have been volunteers here for the church. So this caravan is what we call in Mexico part of a Via Cruz. It is typically an annual tradition that is sort of a pilgrimage, a religious march. But these marches have become so symbolic that they are also being used to make a statement. So this march in particular, the one that's 1,000 plus, the one that President Trump is tweeting about and says it has broken up, even though organizers say they're still 1,000 strong, this particular march is making a statement about Central America. These are a lot of Central Americans, particularly Hondurans, who say, look, we don't have a job in our home country. The government is corrupt. There's a lot of violence. I was just speaking to a few of them who talked about the assaults that happen on a daily basis there. Many of them have families or jobs that even they're waiting for in the U.S. I spoke to one man who wants to get to Houston, one man who wants to get to Durham, my old stomping grounds. So that's kind of their stories. When I've asked them to look through their backpacks, they're just bringing clothes and food and shoes, right? Because they're walking quite a bit, many of them having walked for 10 minutes. So Jason asks why Mexico won't take them in. Very good question, Jason. Mexico has actually been working with some of the people in this group and has offered some of them a sort of refugee or just permission to be here for at least 30 days. Some of them are taking advantage of that to stay here and then seek asylum and stay in Mexico. So some of them are planning to stay in Mexico. I'm going to introduce you to one of them right now. ¿Usted cómo se llama?
Ramos Salvador Aguirre Cabrera.
Ramos? Okay. Erasmo. So this is Erasmo, and I know for a fact, we were talking earlier, and he is going to stay in Tijuana. That is his plan. ¿Y de dónde eres, Erasmo?
Yo soy salvadoreño
He's from El Salvador. ¿Y por qué te fuiste de El Salvador?
por las pandillas.
So he's saying that he's leaving because of the gangs, the violence in El Salvador. Pero eso es algo que afecta todos los días.
Es que yo fui militar y fui guardaespaldas del gobierno y investigaron que era guardaespaldas y metieron amenazas, pues.
So he's saying he's a former, he worked with security, used to work for the government, and I guess that that's why he is now being threatened, according to him, by some of those gangs, and so that's why he's leaving. ¿Piensas quedarte aquí en México?
Sí, en México.
He says he will stay here in Mexico. ¿Y por qué México?
Porque, bueno, Tijuana, Mexicali, tengo amigos que me quieren respaldar allá, o sea, con tal de llegar allá. Y la otra que, con el oficio que yo puedo, voy a hacer dinero en Tijuana sin ir a Estados Unidos.
So he is going to Tijuana because he has support there. He has friends there. So, and he also says that he can get a job there. But note, he is one of the few that has told me that he is actually planning to stay. Pero el plan era quedarte en México?
En México.
Nunca ibas a ir a los
Nunca a
Estados
Estados
Unidos.
Unidos. Yo fui a
He
Chicago.
never had a plan to go to the United States. ¿Pero estuviste en Chicago?
En Chicago, Hallwise.
Okay, but he was in Chicago at one point. ¿Y por qué te fuiste?
En Chicago porque en Chicago, como hace años, desde joven, viajé a
He was in Chicago as a younger person. ¿Fuiste deportado?
Fui deportado.
And he was deported. So he was deported back to El Salvador, and now he is coming back to Mexico because it's too violent for him in El Salvador, and he believes Mexico will be a safer place. ¿Tiene familia?
En El Salvador he dejado mi familia. Tengo familia en
¿Niños?
Dos niños.
¿De cuántos
Aquí,
años?
Uno tiene 9 años y el otro tiene 5.
So he left a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. Those are his children. And so he left them in El Salvador. Okay, so I have a question. You said this happens every year. So is the White House overblowing this, politicizing it? Look, there's no doubt that politics have certainly gotten involved. This is an annual event for this particular organization. They're called Puebla Sin Fronteras. ¿Algunos de ustedes tienen el gafete de Puebla Sin Fronteras? Many of them were given a little ID card from Puebla Sin Frontera, and that is the organization that really took this on. Again, they've been doing this since 2010, so this is the 8th year. But President Trump did tweet about this caravan several days ago, and so that has really become a very big deal in terms of headlines. ¿Y ustedes saben que el presidente Trump ha hablado de esta caravana?
No exactamente.
¿No? ¿Ustedes no sabes qué? Okay, ¿saben? Y ustedes no saben.
Venimos al camino, no hemos
Okay, so I'm asking them. They are not aware of what President Trump has said. ¿Y ustedes saben también o no? He is aware that President Trump has been talking about this. ¿Y usted no? Vente para acá para. Ajá.
Sí nos dijeron que había presionado
Okay, so he's saying that he had heard that President Trump was putting pressure
al presidente
on
mexicano,
the
Peña Nieto,
Mexican
para que
president.
nos detuviese o porque no hacía nada. Porque
Pero
realmente
no has visto los tweets. ¿Has visto? But see, he hasn't seen the tweets either. Keep in mind that they have been traveling from Central America for days. ¿Cuándo se fue de Centroamérica?
una semana.
So he left Central America a week ago. So keep in mind that they've been traveling. Many of them don't have phones. Many of them do have phones. So some of them are aware that there's something going on, but not necessarily sure exactly what the president has said. ¿Piensas ir a los Estados Unidos?
Sí.
He does plan to go to the United States. El presidente ha dicho que va a mandar la Guardia Nacional a la frontera. ¿Eso qué significa para usted? I'm telling him that the president has said he's sending the National Guard down to the border. So what does that mean for him? ¿Eso va a parar su meta?
No.
He's saying that won't stop him. Entonces,
Yo-
¿qué vas a hacer si se encuentra con la Guardia Nacional?
Siempre hay una manera.
He's
Así
saying there's
como-
always a way. And I'm
así-
asking him, okay, but what are you going to do if you see the National Guard?
Así como aquí en México hay migración, también hay personas buenas.
He's
En
saying
todo
there
el
will be
camino-
good people
En todo el camino hemos recibido ayuda.
and people have helped them along the way.
Y
Y entonces
bueno, Estados
piensa,
Unidos.
And he says that he will get help also in the United States.
No
Okay.
es, el presidente Trump no representa realmente el sentimiento de los americanos.
He says President Trump
Él
doesn't really
representa
represent
la
all
política de los
Americans.
Estados Unidos,
He just
no el
represents
sentimiento
a
de las
certain
personas.
politic, a certain political view. Okay, ¿y cómo se llama?
Oscar Cardona.
Oscar, gracias, muchas gracias. Okay, let's see. Is the National Guard necessary if these people are not enticing violence? Well, President Trump has said that this is a dangerous caravan. That is why I want you to meet these people so that you can ask them those same questions. And that is why President Trump has said that we need to build a wall and we need to protect the borders, because President Trump has said that it is dangerous to have people coming into the U.S. So that's President Trump's point of view. But that's when speaking of this caravan that he has called dangerous. El presidente dice que la caravana es peligrosa. ¿Es peligrosa? I'm asking, is it dangerous? No, they're saying no, it's not dangerous. ¿Ustedes son, trabajan con algún cartel o narco? He says they're not. Yeah, they say that they're not with any sort of gang or cartel. They say that they are workers. And so he's also saying that before the caravan even left, they were told, we don't want any gang members, you know, you've got to be clean to be on this caravan, is what they were told. Ajá, dime, Carlos.
Pensamos que él es el peligroso para nosotros.
See, Carlos, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Carlos is saying, I'm not the dangerous one, and by I mean Carlos. He's saying he's not the dangerous one. President Trump is the dangerous one. ¿Y por qué piensas eso? I'm asking why he thinks that.
Porque ni un presidente ha sido como él, como está tratándolos a nosotros.
He says
ahora.
no other president has been this way. Y Carlos, eres de Honduras, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Y explica otra vez. Es que mucha gente me pregunta, ¿pero por qué se van? I'm asking him, why did he leave Honduras and where is he going? He's going to North Carolina, I know. ¿Pero por qué te fuiste? Para los que no entienden por qué uno se va de su propio país, ¿cómo lo explica?
No, pues por lo mismo de querer superar trabajo.
He says that he just wants a better life. He wants
Siempre
work.
vivimos lo mismo, ganamos solo peligro a las pandillas también.
He says that it's too
Hay poco
dangerous
trabajo.
because of the gangs
Y
in
otra parte que no
Honduras.
queremos al presidente Juan Orlando. Él entró con robo de nuevo a
And
las
so
elecciones,
he's
¿me
speaking
entiendes?
of the Honduran president, the new Honduran president that was elected last year. And so he says that he doesn't, you know, care for the new president, and that's why
Y los
he's
dos
leaving. Pero
están-
usted ha hablado malo del presidente de Honduras, pero también ahora del presidente de los Estados Unidos. I'm saying, look, but you're talking that you don't like the president of Honduras, but you don't like the president of U.S., but you're heading to the U.S.
Porque los dos son iguales.
Pues entonces, ¿por qué va a los Estados Unidos?
O sea, porque pensamos que el día de mañana él va a salir de la presidencia.
So he
también.
said both of the presidents are the same, essentially saying
Y no
he
vamos
does
a
not
hacerle
like them.
dinero
I
a
said,
él,
well, then
sino
why are
por
you going to
nosotros,
the
para la
U.S.?
familia.
And they believe it's because President Trump will be out
Sí.
of office soon. Okay, so I wanted to make sure to give you the opportunity to meet some of these folks. Thank you very, very, very much for your questions. I know I wasn't able to get to all of them, but again, it's very important for me to give you the opportunity to see the faces, to hear from them, and to get a better grasp of what is, I understand because I myself have struggled with it, what is a very confusing story, but I wanted to clear a few things up. So again, thanks for joining us. Leila Santiago here. I will be in Puebla all day as the caravans continue to come in, and we'll be keeping you updated on CNN. Thanks.